I've been singing my entire life, since I was very young. I didn't really take any professional voice lessons until very recently, actually, like about a year and a half, 2 years ago. I did chorus all throughout middle school, elementary school, high school. I did karaoke stuff with my dad, who was a country singer and a damn good one. I was taught all these myths in singing, you know, sing from the diaphragm, don't sing from the throat, you know, engage the core, and just like all this stuff that I didn't know how to apply and be practical with. It just didn't make any sense to me. I would post videos on YouTube and I would do karaoke, and people were like, oh, you have a really pretty voice, but you sound too nasal, which was, at the time, I didn't realize meant too bright. Not nose, just bright. Oh, you don't have enough power. You need to engage more. You need to have more support, more support, more support. And it just made me tired because I was trying to squeeze muscles in my abdomen to get support. You're not supposed to do that. So I was just getting really fatigued and tired really fast. And then one day, I think it was back in February of 2022, I was scrolling on TikTok and I came across elite singer Matt Johnson, who is a great coach, and he was talking about the vocal cords, and he was talking about registers, and he was talking about compression and vocal fry and like all this stuff that as a singer for my entire life had never heard of before. But I was like, this is interesting, so I gave him a follow, and then he asked if people wanted to take lessons with him, and I was like, you know what, I've never taken an actual voice lesson that isn't in a choir setting. Yeah, why not? I'll do it. So we talked for a bit. I started taking lessons with him. I signed up for his course online. I started learning about anatomy. That was right there, I think, the first part of my journey as like a voice professional, where I was like, oh, this is interesting. Oh, this is really interesting. Like, you're telling me that we have a thing called a larynx, and that there are muscles in here that create the voice and how the voice works. You're telling me this is a thing that exists. This is cool. And that the vocal cords are like literally the size of your pinky nail. They're that tiny. They're like the length of this tiny little nail here, and they vibrate hundreds or thousands of times per second to create sound. What? And then flaps above them that make these crazy kinds of sounds, and just all this cool stuff. And I was like, oh, this is cool. This is cool. So I asked Matt, I'm like, do you have like any books about vocal pedagogy? Because I've looked into stuff like this before, and I've always found that they're super like dry and just wordy, and they feel like you're reading a textbook written in like the 1800s. It's like, what are you talking about? I need something more cohesive, something I can actually understand. So he's like, yeah, go get Sing Like Never Before on Amazon by Justin Stoney. I got the book, I started reading the book, and then one day, after learning about the book and taking lessons with Matt, I thought, wouldn't it be kind of cool if I taught my friend how to sing? So my friend, I think it was either Shauna or Katie, I think it was Shauna first actually, and my friend Shauna, I gave her a couple voice lessons. And I had no idea what I was doing. I had never designed a vocal exercise in my life. I was just going based off of what the book said and what my coach Matt had said. And I've realized, even though I didn't know a lot at that time, that she was making progress. And it was the coolest thing. And I was like actively teaching my friend how to sing. I didn't charge her, it was free, because again, I didn't know what I was doing. I was very much in the infancy of all this stuff. So then I went to Matt and I was like, what if I wanted to be a voice teacher? And he's like, well, I can give you some tips and stuff to design vocal exercises and start a business. Like, you can do that. So I was mentoring with Matt for a while. Even then, even when I was training with Matt, and Matt is great, don't get me wrong, he's got a big old well of knowledge. Even training with Matt and after reading the book, I was still like, I want to know more. I feel like I'm still missing out on so much stuff that I can be learning. So I went to Matt and I'm like, what if I wanted to like get certified and actually take a course on teaching voice? Where do I do that? Because I can't afford to go to a big fancy college. Like, where do I go for that? And he's like, well, I took New York Vocal Coaching's course, taught by Justin, who wrote the book. And I was like, oh, cool, I could take a course with Justin, who wrote the book. That's cool. So I signed up for the course, and I learned more in that course about singing, voice science, pedagogy, technique, than I have ever learned in the many, many, many years I've been singing. I learned more in that freaking course and with Matt in the book than I've learned ever in my entire life in singing. And now I can design vocal exercises geared to students, and I know exactly how to fix problems. I can listen for problems and know what's going on in the voice. So did I go to college? No. Did I study at some conservatory with professors and voice science wizards? No. I studied with a coach and a very, very knowledgeable voice teacher professional who taught me, again, more about singing the voice than I've ever been able to learn anywhere else. And made it fun and practical as hell. And I finished the course and got a certificate. And then I got a distortion certificate because I like all the rasp stuff. I did all that with a distortion expert named Nicholas. And now I'm taking a music theory course with Andy King, who's also part of NYVC. So, like, my journey is not done. I'm never done learning. The best teachers are the best students. Keep being students, and they keep learning, and they keep applying knowledge, and they keep their minds adaptable to new information and studies and research. And they're encouragers, big time encouragers of the voice. Best teachers challenge their students, but do it in a way that is very encouraging and cheerleader-like. And even if they're not the most pedagogical master of the universe, even if they're just starting out learning, if they know enough to just teach basic fundamentals of voice, if they are encouraging and they help their students grasp a concept and try new things, they're a great teacher. Like, you don't have to be a master in voice. You don't have to take a master's course or have a master's degree or be a professor. You don't have to do all those things. You can, as long as you are a cheerleader of the voice, as long as you have basic knowledge and fundamentals of voice, you can be a great voice teacher. But that's how I became a voice teacher.